The autumn rain pelted against the windows of our modest ranch house in Willow Creek, Texas. Like tiny accusations I couldn't escape. I was slumped at the kitchen table, still in my crisp blouse and slacks from my job as a financial analyst at Lone Star Banking Co-op. My laptop humming softly beside a cooling cup of tea. All I wanted was to dive into the quarterly reports, lose myself in numbers that made sense. Unlike the chaos that had become my home life. That's when Ron stormed in, his boots tracking mud across the linoleum, a sheaf of papers gripped in his calloused hand like a weapon. My mother, Evelyn, hovered behind him, her eyes darting nervously, that same defeated posture she'd worn since marrying him a decade ago. "Emily, we need to talk," Ron growled, slamming the documents down so hard my tea sloshed over the rim. The header jumped out at me, Liberty Bail Services. It was a bail bond form for a guy named Derek Voss, charged with embezzlement. The cosigner section was blank, waiting like a trap. "Who's Derek?" I asked, my voice steady despite the knot forming in my gut. Ron leaned in, his breath reeking of cheap whiskey. "Old buddy from the trucking business. Good guy. Just hit a rough patch. Needs someone with a clean record and steady job to vouch for him." Evelyn chimed in softly. "It's for the family, sweetie." Ron's credits maxed out on the warehouse expansion. I scanned the form closer. The amounts didn't add up. Extra processing premiums tacked on that screamed red flags from my training in fraud detection. Dates looked smudged, like they'd been tampered with. "This doesn't look right," I said, pushing it back. "And even if it did, my employer has strict rules against this kind of liability. It could cost me my job." Ron's face twisted, veins bulging in his neck. "Your damn job again? Always putting that above us. Sign it, Emily, or we're gonna have problems." The air thickened, heavy with unspoken threats. Evelyn pleaded. "It's just your name on a line. Nothing more." Those words hung there, simple yet sinister. I shook my head. "No." Ron exploded, his fist pounding the table, sending papers fluttering. "You think you're too good for this family? After everything we've done for you?" I stood, grabbing my laptop, heart racing. "I'm not signing anything shady." He lunged, grabbing my arm with bruising force. "You ungrateful." I yanked away, but he shoved me toward the door. I stumbled out into the rain-slicked porch, my foot catching on the step. Pain exploded in my wrist as I hit the concrete walkway, rain mixing with the warm trickle of blood from a gash on my forehead. "Get the hell out," Ron bellowed from the doorway. Evelyn stood frozen, murmuring, "Emily, please." But I was already scrambling up, clutching my bag, fleeing into the night. The cold seeped into my bones as I walked the 2 miles to my half-brother Alex's place in the rundown apartments on Elm Street. We'd shared a mom but different dads. And our bond had frayed over the years, me with my college degree and stable job, him bouncing between gigs at auto shops. But blood was blood. He opened the door in grease-stained jeans, his face hardening at the sight of me soaked and bleeding. "What the? Come in." He sat me on his threadbare couch, fetching a towel and ice pack. "Who did this?" "Ron," I whispered, the tears finally breaking free. I spilled it all, the bail bond, the suspicious details, the shove that crossed a line he'd always towed but never breached. Alex's jaw clenched. "That bastard. We're calling the cops." But first, he bandaged my wrist, which was swelling badly. "Nothing broken, but you need to get it checked." As I settled in, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. "If you won't help willingly, we'll get what we need another way." Chills ran down my spine. Identity theft? Forgery? My analyst brain kicked in. I fired at my laptop, logging into my bank portal at Prairie Trust. At first glance, accounts seemed fine. Then, in the loan history, a personal loan addendum I didn't recognize, co-signed in my name for $50,000. The digital signature mimicked mine. But the date? I was at a seminar in Dallas that week. Receipts could prove it. Alex. Look. He peered over. He forged this? Son of a. We dug deeper into public records. A credit card application denied 6 months back. Another for a business line of credit. All with my info. All routed to Mom's address. He's been using you as a credit puppet, Alex said. Fury in his eyes. Testing the waters before the big ask. We didn't wait for dawn. The Willow Creek PD station was a stark fluorescent buzz at 1 a.m., reeking of stale donuts and regret. Officer Maria Gonzalez took my report, snapping photos of my injuries and noting the forgeries. This is assault and potential fraud, she said, her tone professional yet empathetic. We'll investigate, but build your evidence. Get a restraining order tomorrow. As we left, exhaustion hit, but so did resolve. Ron had underestimated me. This wasn't just a push, it was war on my future. The next day brought slashed tires on Alex's pickup. A note. Family sticks together. Gonzalez ramped up patrols, but advised a safe haven, Haven House, a discreet shelter for domestic abuse survivors. I checked in under alias. A sparse room with a sturdy lock becoming my fortress. Director Lena, ironic. That name, handed me a journal. Document everything. It's your armor. I filled pages with timelines, linking Ron's trucking woes, public liens on his warehouse, to the forgery spikes. Derek Voss? A quick online search revealed his rap sheet. Money laundering through fake trucking invoices. Ron wasn't bailing a friend. He was protecting a partner in crime. Gonzalez connected me to state investigator Tom Reyes from the Financial Crimes Unit. Your homework's impressive, he said over coffee in his sleek office. Patterns like this scream conspiracy. We pored over records. Liberty Bail had complaints of doctored forms. Owned by sleazy Vince Harlan. He's the forger hub, Reyes mused. If we link him to Ron. The plan formed. An undercover sting. I'd confront Harlan with evidence while a plant posed as a client needy for signature help. But waiting gnawed at me. Dreams replayed the shove. Evelyn's pleas echoing like ghosts. Alex visited covertly, reporting Ron's drive-bys and Evelyn's calls. She says you're dramatic. That Ron regrets it. But her fear leaked through, tied to his failing business. She'd drown with him. She's chosen her side, I told Alex. Heart aching. Yet, understanding dawned. Her just your name was survival, not love. It didn't excuse, but it explained. 2 weeks later, subpoenas hit patered, emails between Ron and Harlan on document fixes. Surveillance greenlit. Showtime, Reyes said. Tomorrow, we'd spring the trap. The drizzle turned Willow Creek's streets into slick mirrors, reflecting my steely resolve as Gonzalez drove me to Liberty Bail's dingy strip mall spot, sandwiched between a pawn shop and a liquor store. I adjusted my blazer, the one I wore for high-stakes meetings at the co-op, channeling that professional armor. Inside, the air hung heavy with desperation and synthetic pine scent. Vince Harlan, balding and sweaty, was mid-pitch to our undercover guy, posing as a frantic brother. Look, signatures can be arranged for a fee. Papers littered his desk, forgeries waiting to happen. We burst in. Harlan's eyes widened at Gonzalez's badge and my folder of doom. MS. Carter? This a bad time? I laid out the evidence. Forged loans. Timestamps that screamed fraud. You and Ron have been busy. Harlan stammered. I don't know what. The bell jingled. Ron entered. freezing at the sight. His face contorted from surprise to rage. Emily, what the hell are you doing? Gonzalez warned. Step back, sir. But Ron advanced, spittle flying. You couldn't just sign? The warehouse is tanking without that cash. Harlan hissed. Shut it, Ron. But the damage was done. Your fault, Ron snarled at him. You promised those signatures would hold. Confession on a platter. Gonzalez radioed backup. The undercover drew his piece subtly. Sirens wailed as cuffs clicked on both. Ron's parting shot. Your mom will hate you for this. Maybe. But watching him hauled away, a weight lifted. The sting's wire captured Harlan's forgery spiel. Ron's outburst sealing the conspiracy. Charges piled. Assault. Identity theft. Fraud for Ron. Forgery aiding for Harlan. Back at Haven House. I exhaled fully for the first time in weeks. But the fight was far from over. The trial loomed. A 6-month gauntlet of depositions and dread. Evelyn attended every hearing. Her gaze accusatory from the benches. Never speaking. Alex squeezed my hand. She's lost.
Eminencia.
But you're not. Ron's defense painted me as a spiteful stepkid resenting family duties. But evidence crushed it. Injury photos. Digital trails. Harlan's plea deal testimony detailing Ron's signature samples from old family docs I'd signed as a teen. The probe unveiled Ron's empire of deceit, his trucking firm $800,000 underwater. Forged loans funneling cash to hush creditors. Derek Voss? His embezzlement tied to Ron's rigged bids. Laundering profits. A pyramid of lies, the prosecutor thundered in closings. MS. Carter was the unwilling foundation. Jury out 2 hours. Guilty all counts. Ron got 4 years for finances, plus a year for assault. Harlan. 3 years. License revoked. Restitution ordered. Though Ron's assets were ghosts. Post-sentencing. Evelyn cornered me in the courthouse hall. Happy now? Her voice cracked like old porcelain. The house is in foreclosure. Sympathy flickered. She'd been my mom once. Baking cookies. Bandaging boo-boos. But that version vanished in Ron's shadow. I'm safe, I said flatly. That's what matters. She walked away. Pausing. Divorce papers came. It's over. Alex waited outside. You good? Getting there. Life normalized slowly. I left the shelter for a cozy apartment in a gated complex. Returned to Lone Star. My ordeal sharpening my fraud-spotting skills. Boss even promoted me to senior analyst. Alex and I bonded deeper. Weekly barbecues, where he'd share about his new mechanic shop gig and budding romance with a nurse named Carla. Nightmares lingered. Ron's shove. Evelyn's betrayal, but therapy chipped away the edges. A year on, a letter from Evelyn. Forwarded. I've reflected. Ron charmed me blind to his poison. Living with Aunt June in Oklahoma now. Peaceful. Be well. Not sorry, but aware. I filed it. A quiet closure. Volunteering at Haven House became my outlet. Leading workshops on financial red flags. Identity safeguards. Knowledge is power, I'd tell wide-eyed women. One session. A participant asked, how do you say no when they say it's just a form? I smiled sadly. Remember, your name is your lifeline. They'll guilt you. Call it family. But choosing you isn't selfish, it's survival. She nodded, jotting notes. Another warrior arming up. Reflecting back. The seeds of this nightmare were sown long before that rainy night. Growing up in Willow Creek. Life was simple until Dad passed when I was 10. Evelyn remarried Ron 2 years later. His gruff charm masking the control freak beneath. He'd bark orders. Belittle my ambitions, college? Waste for a girl. While Alex. 5 years older, bore the brunt as the man of the house stand-in. I buried myself in books. Scholarships paving my escape to UT Austin for finance. Landing the co-op job felt like victory. But home visits revealed cracks, Ron's trucking business floundering, Evelyn's excuses for his moods. The bail push wasn't random. Months prior, I'd noticed odd mail, credit offers I hadn't sought, brushed off as spam. Hindsight, Ron's reconnaissance. Post-arrest, Reyes uncovered more. Ron had pilfered my social from old tax forms, practicing forgeries on scrap paper found in raids. Harlan's office was a forgery factory. Templates for everything from loans to bonds. You were his golden ticket, Reyes said. Clean credit. Verifiable income. The sting's success rippled. Other victims came forward. Harlan's client list yielding a dozen cases. Ron's fall exposed a small-town fraud ring. Voss flipping on bigger fish in state trucking scams. Court days blurred into emotional marathons. Testifying, I faced Ron's glare. Detailing the shove. The discoveries. His lawyer cross-examined. Isn't this revenge for a strict stepdad? I held firm. No, it's justice for crimes. Evelyn's presence stung most, silent support for him. A wall between us. Alex testified too. On the tires, the threats. He's terrorized us long enough. Verdict day. Tension coiled like a spring.
Guilty.
Relief washed over. But so did grief for the family fractured. Rebuilding was piecemeal. Therapy unpacked layers. Why I stayed silent on Ron's verbal abuse for years. Evelyn's enabling as her own trauma response from a controlling ex. Forgiveness isn't mandatory, my counselor said. Healing is. Work thrived. I spearheaded a fraud prevention program, training staff on patterns I'd lived. Colleagues joked I was the survivor sleuth. Personally, dating tentatively, a coffee with a kind accountant from church. But trust rebuilt slowly. Alex's life bloomed. Shop promotion. Carla moving in. You inspired me.
Eminencia.
Standing up showed me I could too. Our Sundays evolved to include her. Laughter filling gaps pain once occupied. Yet, echoes remained. Cold snaps twinged my wrist. Reminders of that fall. Bank alerts pinged obsessively at first, easing to routine checks. The letter from Evelyn lingered in a drawer. Reread occasionally. Progress. Not perfection. 2 years post-trial. A parole hearing loomed for Ron. I attended. Victim statement ready. He shuffled in, aged beyond years. Eyes downcast. I've changed, his plea claimed. But letters he'd sent, veiled threats via proxies, violated terms. Adding time. His signature on the admission form? Ironic justice. Walking out. Liberty Bale's old spot was now a coffee shop. Aroma of fresh brews, overriding desperation. I sipped a latte, feeling unburdened. Volunteering deepened. A mentee, Sarah, shared her story, pressured to co-sign a brother's shady loan. He said it was nothing. I guided her. Freeze credit. Report fraud. Seek shelter. Watching her file charges, strength mirrored mine. You did it, she said post-hearing. So can I. That's the ripple. One refusal sparking chains of empowerment. Deeper into recovery. I explored what family meant. Blood ties? Or chosen bonds? Evelyn's absence carved a void. But Alex filled it. Our half-sibling links strengthening into unbreakable. Holidays shifted. Thanksgiving at his place. Carla's turkey rivaling childhood memories. No Ron's rants. No tension. This is real family, Alex toasted. I nodded. Grateful. Professionally. My story leaked internally. Boss encouraged sharing at conferences. From victim to vigilant, spotting financial abuse. Audiences leaned in as I wove the tale, the bail ploy, forgeries, sting. Listen to your gut, I'd emphasize. That just sign is a siren song. Applause followed, but connections mattered more. Women approaching post-talk, whispering similar horrors. Your stories saved me from signing. Ron's imprisonment brought unexpected closure. A prison letter arrived. Not threats, but ramblings. Didn't mean to hurt you. Business pressure. No apology. Just excuses. I burned it. Ashes scattering like released burdens. Evelyn, radio silence until a birthday card. Thinking of you. Tentative olive branch? Maybe. I sent a neutral reply. Hope you're well. Baby steps. Daily life hummed with normalcy. Yoga classes easing wrist stiffness. Book club debates lightning evenings. A promotion to fraud team lead came with perks, travel, impact. In Chicago for a summit, I met Jordan, a fellow analyst with kind eyes and sharp wit. Dates evolved to relationship, trust built brick by brick. Your strength amazes me, he'd say. First healthy love. No red flags. Yet. Triggers lurked. A TV show on family fraud sent me spiraling. Alex talking me down. You're not there anymore. Therapy tools helped. Journaling evolved from evidence to gratitude logs. Today, free choices. Haven House workshops grew. I co-developed a curriculum with Lena, blending finance smarts with survivor insights. Empowerment through education, our motto. 3 years out. A class action suit against Harlan's old network netted restitution, enough for a down payment on a house. Willow Creek felt too haunted. I relocated to Austin. Vibrant energy matching my rebirth. Alex visited often. Kids on the horizon with Carla. Uncle Judy's await, he teased. Reflecting, Ron counted on compliance, my gender, youth, conditioning. Wrong bet. My refusal wasn't rebellion. It was reclamation. The assault? Catalyst for unmasking deeper rot. Trials grind? Forge for resilience. Estrangement? Price for peace. Sarah. My mentee. Updated. Charges stuck. Independence gained. Echoed your words, my name, my power. Chain reaction. In quiet moments, I ponder the what-ifs.
Sign that bond?
Entangled in fraud. Credit ruined. Job lost. But no regrets. That no was my lifeline. Unraveling a web that could have ensnared forever.
Now.
At 31. Life thrives. Austin bungalow with a garden. Jordan's ring on my finger. Wedding plans simple and joyful. Alex walks me down the aisle. Evelyn invited but absent. Her choice. Work fulfills. Leading statewide fraud awareness. Testifying on legislation for better identity protections. From personal pain to public good, a colleague noted. Volunteering persists remotely. Virtual sessions reaching wider. A young woman messaged, your story stopped me from co-signing a toxic ex's loan. Thank you. Impact amplified. Phantom pains fade. Replaced by strength scars. Cold nights, warm tea, reflection. Freedom's flavor? Sweet.
Hard one.
The core lesson lingers. Signatures bind more than paper, they tether futures. Guard yours fiercely. Family demanding sacrifice of self? Not family. Choose you. Unapologetically. In that choice lies true bonds. Resilient and real. What if Evelyn reaches out fully? Doors cracked. But boundaries firm. Healing's ongoing. A journey, not destination. My name is Emily Carter. Survivor. Advocate. Woman who said no and won everything. In the end, the most powerful signature is the one affirming your worth.